Really, Adobe? Really? Hi everybody, Daphne here, and welcome back to my channel. I am the artist of the self-published furry fantasy comics Tall Tales and Ego Raven Heir of the First Unicorn, premiering on Kickstarter January 4th, 2021. Before we get started, check out my artwork at the galleries and social media sites next to me on the side here, and don't forget to subscribe and click on the notification bell so you can get notified whenever I upload a new video. And as always, there's free comics featuring the first 3 issues of Tall Tales waiting for you at the link in the description box below, so don't forget to sign up for them. So you know it's going to be a rant video when I decide not to bother to script. So a couple of days ago, our favorite company, Adobe, makers of Photoshop, InDesign, and Illustrator, all fine programs I might add, that are a staple of a lot of comic book creators, tool stable, I guess, decided that they were going to come out with a new product specifically or to create comics, which in and of itself is not necessarily a bad thing. Obviously, Adobe was a little tired of getting their asses handed to them by Clip Studio Paint, which is pretty much an augmented version of Photoshop with more tools specifically for the comic book artist or creator. Well, I was shown the website and the video that Adobe created to promote this product, and to say I'm a little tight about it is an understatement, because as artists, as creators, we already have a hard time enough with an industry that goes out of its way to devalue the work that we do. And in the end, I'm not really just talking about the comic book industry. I'm talking about graphic design. I'm talking about advertising. I'm talking about any place where being an artist is integral to the final product, but the industry itself, you know the whole thing. I'll pay you in exposure. Like if they could not pay you, they would, and they do, and So when I was finally introduced to what this product was, I felt very insulted. And sure, it would be easy to just make a video of me just screaming into the camera. I'm going to take a deep breath. I'm going to bring you to my computer so that we can watch this promotional video and website together, so that maybe we could have a better understanding in what the F Adobe is trying to do here. So as you can see on the screen, this is the website from Adobe for this product called Comic Blast, reinventing the way comics are created and consumed. And already I'm a little tight about this because they're using the word consume. I consume food. I don't consume artwork. That's the thing. It's like, it's like already off the top, they're telling you that this is something to be consumed and pooped out pretty much as quickly as possible. Like that's already the vibe that I'm having here, and it's like, and you can tell that, obviously, that they obviously consulted with the top names in the comic book industry to design this website and, and really sell the product to us. It's like, and if you can't tell, I am being hella facetious here. So we're gonna scroll down. So this is the video, but I'm gonna read to you the first paragraph of how they're selling this program without me even watching the video and knowing what this thing does. And okay, here we go. Overview. Comic books represent some of the most exciting and creative work being done in the graphic design industry. Okay, this is the first time that I've heard about comic books being considered part of graphic design. So I don't know who they're talking about with this. It's like you're either a comic book artist or you're a graphic designer, or you do both. But one is not necessarily the other. When I was at SVA, I had to get into the fine art department in order to get access to the comic book classes. I didn't, graphic design was something completely different that they were doing. I don't know who they're talking to that told them that comic books was part of graphic design and advertising, okay? I don't know where that's coming from. Over a period of 200 years, comic books have evolved from print to digital to animated motion comics and now even AR and VR. But the process of designing a comic book is still primitive, time-consuming, and extremely complicated. Primitive? Really? Really, Adobe? Really? Really? Primitive? I'll give you time-consuming. I'll give you complicated. But effing primitive. Really? It's like we're not drawing on cave walls. Okay? We're drawing on paper. We're using pencils. We're using Cintiqs. There's who was the copy editor on this? Who wrote this? Who wrote this? Who wrote this? So let me get my primitive, time-consuming, and complicated ass back to doing this. So, Comic Blast is the one-stop comic book design tool which reinvents the way comics are created and consumed. Again, the eating comparison. It's like, this is art. Art is not about consumption. Art is an experience. Art is something you contemplate. Art is not fast food. I mean, it could be, but hey, I'm primitive, complicated, and time-consuming. So obviously, we're more akin to the slow food movement than McDonald's. Where was I? It introduces efficient, collaborative, and intelligent design and technology paradigms to make comic book creation not only fun, but many times faster. Now, look, that's not necessarily a bad thing, okay? Fun is subjective, okay? It's like, let's not get our panties twisted here. It's subjective. It's like, look, more times than not, it feels more like a job than riding Seven Dwarfs Mine Train at Disney World, okay? Faster? Sure. Who wouldn't want to be able to streamline their process and make a comic book faster? I would, right? But so far, I'm not exactly convinced that I'm actually the person this program is for, because already they've insulted my skill, right? They insulted my process, and it sounds sus. Backed by Adobe's cloud services, Comic Blast makes the world's most flexible layout engine available to comic book designers. What the F is a comic book designer? Will somebody explain that to me? I don't know what a comic book designer is. I'm a comic book artist. I create comics, I draw comics, I letter comics, I color comics, I sell comics, but I've never heard of a comic book designer. It's like, where are they getting this from? Powered Powered by neural technologies like content-aware fit, content-aware fill, adaptive layouts, and auto-vectorization, Comic Blast provides a completely new experience for comic book design. Additionally, Comic Blast uses machine learning to create and deliver contextual and user-specific content. Okay, whatever. All right? Look. Okay, all right. I know that Clip Studio Paint, is taking away a lot of your audience, who would rather not pay for Photoshop. And, you can go to Clip Studio Paint, and sometimes you can get it for $25, on sale, and you own the CD, you own the program, and it does all these things that are very specific to comic book creation. I understand that. But Adobe, really? Really? Who did you consult? Who did you consult with this? It's like your copy, it's only 3 paragraphs, and you have me tight. You have me tight. It's like, really? Okay? If you're marketing this to professionals, I want to meet the professionals you spoke to. You consulted with for this, honestly, really. So this is what the program allegedly does. Comic Blast reimagines the comic creation process by enabling quick and beautiful layouts, seamless collaboration, powerful content digitization and image tracing, motion graphics and interactivity, and personalized and contextual content. When I do layouts for a comic, it really is the most time-consuming part of the process. It requires me to break down a script and set up the panels in a way where the story flows through the panels, through the pages, through the entire book in a way that the reader can follow and have that experience with the book. If you want, I have an entire video series about my process, and one specifically about laying out scripts for comics, if you want to check that out. I'm a little suspicious as to what they consider layouts and layout integration in this program. I'm very suspicious because I don't understand what they mean by layout. And I have a strange feeling they just mean we put the boxes in. That's not layout. That's just putting the boxes in. But you know what? Look, we haven't even got to the video that shows what they're talking about. So let's move on. Let's move on with this, right? Oh, and by the way, if you haven't figured it by now that you are absolutely not going to get a non-judgmental review of this product, yeah. Ooh, I am not looking forward to this. Okay, so let's move on, shall we?
I'm Garima and I love reading comics.
So obviously Adobe tapped the talents of the famous Garima Aurora to advertise this product. And I'm sure if I were to look up her name, she must have like vast credits at like Marvel or DC or like Image. Maybe she's done a book at IDW or something. It's like I can really feel it that this woman knows what she's talking about, and she's not reading from a poorly worded script. Really, it's like I can sense it. And of course, you can absolutely tell she loves comics. Look at her background. It just screams, comic book creator. You know, it really does. I mean, I'm convinced, Adobe. I'm so completely convinced.
And can I let you in on a little secret? I have recently started designing one. But I think you will agree that designing comic like a pro is no easy task.
Well, okay, at least you got that right. Okay? Yeah. Designing a comic is not easy. Last I checked, it kind of wasn't supposed to be. I was never told this was going to be easy. I've been doing comics for 20 plus years, and at not one point has it ever been easy. But again, it's like, what the F is a comic book designer?
I have to write the script, plan the layout, draw the art, create speech bubbles, compose the lettering, and put them together. Panel by panel, one by one, page by page by page.
Yeah, that's kind of how it works. Sure. I mean, yeah, okay. Yeah, that's all the things we have to do. Yes. Welcome to independent publishing. That's what we have to do.
There has to be a better way of doing this. Presenting Comic Blast, a fun and easy way to create pro comic books. Let's have a look. Scripts for comics typically follow a structure, and Comic Blast powerful AI algorithms have been trained to analyze such scripts and identify components like panel, SFX text, dialogue, and speech bubbles. All I need to do is import the script and press this magic button.
Please tell me she didn't say magic button. She said magic button, didn't she? Really? Really, Adobe? Really? Really? Did you know that it only takes a change of 2 pixels for an AI to recognize a photo of a ship as an airplane? 2 pixels. And you want me to believe an AI, you can dump a script into an AI and it'll create an entire pro comic for you. Okay.
And voila! My entire comic book comes to life in a matter of seconds. Creating comic books just became 100 times faster.
By the way, I also have a video on how to letter for comics using Adobe Illustrator. You know, I just thought I'd mention that for some reason. You know, just came to mind right now.
I can change the page layouts instantaneously while retaining all the components on the page. I can even adjust the space between 2 panels or create new panels on the fly. I can even merge 2 speech bubbles into one by a simple drag and drop. After all, it never feels complete without that personal touch. To add the art, I simply import my hand-drawn sketch, which gets auto-traced instantaneously. I can even add the art using my favorite app, Fresco.
Well, it's nice to see that Adobe is trying to figure out how to get everyone to use the other programs they have in their suite that nobody gives an F about. Okay, sure.
Comic Blast not only changes the way you design comics, it also reimagines how you consume them. For instance, CAN-based image synthesis enables me to assign morphing capabilities to the face of any character. So next time when reading a comic, I can add my own selfie to it. Ta-da! I can even add a branching narrative storyline format. So, depending on which egg I choose, the story will progress accordingly. I bet I'm never going to get bored of reading the same comic ever again.
Well, considering I don't believe you read comics at all, I don't expect you to get bored reading comics. Because you can't get bored with something you don't do. Just saying.
Not only this, Comic Blast enables you to add cool motion graphic and animation to your comic books. For instance, in this frame, I can add a simple animation and preview the effect. Wow! Let's add a complex animation of rotation and preview. Wonderful! In this frame here, let's add depth effect. Wow, it's an awesome parallax effect.
Look, if I can say anything fair about this, is that, yeah, okay, being able to easily add motion effects and special effects to digital artwork, okay, yeah, that's fine, that's good. I mean, that's something that, yeah, could be fun to use. I'm not sure if Clip Studio Paint does something like that, but you know, that's it. You know, okay, all right, you could have had me there, sure. You know, put in the digital, have your digital art, you know, and have it automatically animate without having to bring in a separate app. Sure, okay.
Comic Blast, a fun and easy way to create pro comic books that are beautiful, personalized, interactive, animated, and did I mention 100 times faster? Well, it is.
I really want to know what Adobe's definition of pro is, honestly. I really do. Because there was nothing in this video that convinced me that any pro would be using this. They could have made, you see, here's the thing. Adobe could have made a superior product to Clip Studio Paint. Clip Studio exists, so it's not like they don't know what it is exactly we're looking for in this program. Clip Studio, you know, they took Photoshop and they added all these things specific to comic book work and created Clip Studio Paint. Adobe could have built on that idea and made, who knows? I mean, they could have made a product that could have brought everybody back. And instead, they decided to do, I don't know, the digital product version of Comic Sans, where it looks like it could be a comic book font, but nobody uses it as a comic book font because it's not a proper comic book font. There's a science behind all of this. It's like we just don't wake up one day and, well, actually we do, you know, and just like, oh, I'm gonna put together a comic book, and then poof, end of the day we have a comic book. It's like, well, yeah, okay, there's some people who could do that, you know, but it's like, no, it's a process for a reason. Because if you want to create a product that's worth it, it's a process. It's time consuming. It's complicated. I mean, primitive, really? I'm still a little stuck on that word. Really? In all the words of the English language, you're going to call what I do primitive? Oh, okay. Really? The thing is, though, there's nothing wrong with using a tool, okay? There's nothing wrong with using a tool that helps streamline your process, that makes it easier, that there's nothing wrong with that. It's the reason why people did convert to digital. It's the reason why I color digitally. I letter in Illustrator as opposed to when I used to print out text and literally glue them onto the board. I mean, yeah, I prefer digital, thank you. You know, it's not a bad thing. It's like, you know, that's like saying, it's like, oh yes, you know, it's like, I use a hammer. You know, it's like, of course you use a hammer. It's a tool. The problem is, and when they say, you see this hammer built a house. No, the hammer didn't build a house. It's like the people building the house built the house, you know? And you have the people, you have the carpenters, you have the plumbers, you have the electricians, you have the roofers. You don't have one person. You don't have the guy with the hammer saying, this is my house, I built it. It's a collaborative effort, even if you're the only one working on it, because it requires so many different skills in order to put together a product, in order to put together a book that entertains people, because in the end, that's what you're doing. You're entertaining people in the end. I mean, you're entertaining yourself first. And then if other people are entertained by your work, then that's the highlight of it. Who's going to be entertained by whatever it is this woman made in this crappy little program that if you had told me Microsoft had made it, I wouldn't have batted an eye at it. I mean, this is so low budget, it's not even funny. It's like, I don't care if it has AI learning. It's like, what is this? You know, it's like, this is, I can't imagine, I mean, actually I could. I can't imagine professionals actually trying to go in and reverse engineer this program. Trying to figure out, you know, it's like, well, what can this program do? Sure, I can see professionals really getting their hands on this and trying to do something with it. But in the end, if they are able to succeed at doing something with this program, it's because they are professionals. They are true comic book professionals, and they know the process of making a comic book, so they know what to look for. They know, you know, what it is. It's like they would like to see this program do. Or it's like, or maybe it does do something that can streamline the process. Who knows? But when you already have a program like Clip Studio Paint, why would you need this crappy little program to do one thing? You know, it's like it doesn't make any sense. The thing that I really want to say about this is that this is a company trying to commodify what I've spent years working, learning to do, still working on trying to do correctly. And, you know, and it's like, and for them to say, oh, press the magic button. It's like, I can't even tell you how many levels of insulted I am by that. You know, because it's like, what they're telling me is that, well, you know, oh, all those years of work doesn't mean anything, because now any asshole can do this. And the thing is that if anybody can just press a magic button, guess what? You don't have a specialized skill anymore. And guess what? Nobody has to pay you for it, which is a completely separate but completely related conversation. So I think that, you know, this is part of a bigger problem than rather than this is just a crappy little program that Adobe is trying to like push out because, you know, they kind of resent what Clip Studio Paint did on the back of Photoshop. But really though, I mean, I don't know. I don't know anymore. I mean, like, in the end, it's like I am not looking forward to hearing the stories about like actual graphic design firms wanting 10 years experience on this program that just came out last week. You know, because in the end, that's who's going to be using this program. It's going to be graphic design firms, you know, it's like whatever, that they have the Adobe suite already. This program pops up and it's like, oh, we can do pro comic books now. Yeah, so I'm not going to use this program. It's like, look, I don't even use Clip Studio Paint because everything that program does, I can do faster on my own. So I don't have time for the learning curve, so I don't bother with it. But the thing is, though, if you know how to use it, go right ahead. Because you know what? When you know how to use it, it really does streamline the process. It really does make things easier. You have all the patterns and the special effects and everything that's already there that you don't have to sit there and do by hand. You know, so yeah, great, hooray! You can do that. Nobody's saying you can't. But what it is that programs like this completely devalues what you're doing by, oh, just press the magic button. It's like, all right, whatever. You know what? It's like I think I spent enough time ranting on this, and I'm sure you guys, you know, are fed up with listening to the parrot blowing out your eardrums in your headphones. So you know what? I think what it is, I have to go kind of wind down and you know, it's like relax and kind of get my mind off of this, and probably, you know, just go, you know, watch a feel good movie or something, you know. So so you know what, you guys, you know what to do, you know, like, subscribe, the whole thing. I'll talk to you later.